ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Facebook group, The New Brew, proudly brings to you the Wrestling with the Remote podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 6 of the Wrestling with the Remote podcast, brought to you by the fine folks over there at The New Brood on Facebook. Please go look for us on Facebook. The link will be in the description below. We'll also have, it is a closed group, so you do have to answer some wrestling related questions to get into the group. We are a little bit more rowdy in the group than we are on the podcast, but I am your host, Rob, aka Rock Roberts. Once again, joining me tonight, and you fine folks as well, Zane and Travis. Go ahead, guys. Say hi.
What's going on? It's good to be here.
All right, so we're going to do things. Guys, I can't believe CM Punk came back at All In and he just destroyed everybody. No, guys, I'm just joking. I'm joking. This is a delayed taping. I'm actually out of the state, so if you're wondering why we're not going to be discussing any major storylines, any major events in the wrestling world, it's because we've actually taken a break this week. I'm on vacation, or as my buddies across the pond says, I'm on holiday. And I can't trust none of these fools to do it right. So,
well, drink way too heavily to run the podcast.
So, this is gonna, I guess, be kind of a special edition podcast. We are gonna do what we did a few weeks back, a little bit different. Where, if you remember, we did a mock draft of every wrestler in the world that was available, that was active. And we pretty much, it was me, Travis, Dustin, and Jacob all sat down and we pulled wrestlers from a pool. No one else was able to pull them once they were pulled out of the drafted. And we made our own rosters of 10 males, 10 females, and was it 3 tag teams, I believe it was?
3 tag teams.
Yeah. So we're not gonna really do that. We're gonna do more of a fantasy type booking. So the rules are as follows of this. Since we are on the cusp, or the eve, if you will, of Hell in a Cell. Yeah, it's been a long day of Hell in a Cell. We're going to do something that hasn't been done in quite a while. We're going to make up our own 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell match. We're going to have 2 of them, one for the WWE title, one for the Universal title. The rules are as follows. You can only pick 6 superstars or 6 members on that brand's roster to fight for that title. So, NXT, out. 205 Live, out. Anyone from New Japan, Ring of Honor, TNA, any other promotion, out. So, for example, if we want Samoa Joe to go after a title, he only can go after the WWE title because that is what brand he is on. There is no pull, so it's no, this guy is, I'm going to have this guy on my show to fight for this title. No one else can have him. That's not how it's going to go. So how we're going to do this is Zane's going to go first. He's going to give us all 6 of his people that he wants. He's going to start with the Universal. Then he's going to go with the WWE. And then he's also going to list 2 wins and a short fantasy fallout, if you will. And the fallout can include other wrestlers from other brands. So if you want to include like a returning Aleister Black, you can do so. But they just cannot be in the match, if that makes sense.
Nice.
So Zane, go ahead and have at it.
Well, first off, I just want to say I hated missing that mock draft y'all had a few weeks ago. Listen to that on the podcast. It sounded like a lot of fun.
It
was a blast.
Definitely, we need to do it again in the future with more people. That'd make for some interesting fun. But what are we starting off with first? Universal title or WWE?
Universal Raw roster.
Okay. Well, with Roman Reigns being champion, obviously he's got to be in there. My other 5, I guess I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna put Finn Balor in there. Throw in some Seth Rollins, some Dean Ambrose, and Braun Strowman. So we got all the members of the Shield in there with Finn Balor and Braun Strowman. And I would make it look like the Shield working together the whole time and just taking out everybody.
Well, you're missing a person. That's only 5 people. You need one more person.
Okay. Well, throw in Drew McIntyre.
All right.
But just have the Shield just start obliterating everybody. Looks like Roman's going to retain or something, and then have Dean Ambrose turn on Roman and win the title, and then they can the follow up from that could be a Dean and Roman feud.
All right. So who wins?
Dean Ambrose.
Dean wins. Where does Roman stand at after all this? Does
Vince is booking it.
Vince ain't booking. This is you.
booking
This
it.
is you. This is you booking.
Oh, well, after that, I'd say Dean will retain against Roman with a. I don't know. I'd like to turn Seth Rollins heel and align him with Dean and just screw over Roman. Just for the sake of screwing over Roman.
All
I
right.
respect it.
All right, Travis.
Since we're not doing realistically here, we're doing fantasy booking. I do not have Roman. You, Roman.
Well, who's the champion?
This is an open.
See, I wish I would have. Okay, I'll do it with the WWE. Well, no, I like AJ as champion.
This is an Armageddon match with the winner becomes the heavyweight champion, WWE Universal champion. And in this match is Braun Strowman, Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, and Elias.
All right.
Well, Kevin Owens isn't an active roster member.
That's right. He's not. You have to take him out now.
Well, in my fantasy world, he is an actor, and he is a Paul Heyman guy.
Well, here's the deal. Remember, I said in the pre-discussion that they had to be active. If you go on to the WWE website, he is not in the active roster. He is in the alumni roster.
Okay, all right. Okay, and instead of KO, I will add Finn Balor.
All right. So,
but in this world, this is post
Demon King
heel turn. So you have Dean and Seth at each other's throat the entire match. But my winner is Braun Strowman because realistically, if we're talking here, and the way he's been booked and the way he's been built, is if anyone, I don't care if it's 10, 12, I don't care if it's a Royal Rumble in a cage, in a cell, Braun Strowman wins. So I have Braun Strowman walking out of that as a Universal Champion. And my initial plan was to have Paul Heyman finagle his way in the KO getting a rematch, for that title. But since you guys screwed me out of that, I don't really know where I'm going after that. But Braun wins, yeah. Braun walks out of the Hell in a Cell as the Universal Champion.
all right. What's the fallout after it?
The fallout is I pretty much had Seth and Dean taking each other out more or less. This is, in my fantasy world, this is post-Dean heel turn. And so they pretty much take each other out. I had my final two were going to be Braun and KO with Paul Heyman's help. Since that's not a thing, it's going to be Braun and Elias. That's pretty much the two remaining, with Braun destroying him. As far as after the show goes, I'll have McIntyre. McIntyre is going to be one of those deals where, hey, I technically didn't get beat. I didn't get pinned. You know, I'm the only one that can slay the monster. I'm the only one that can beat Braun Strowman. So this leads to a Strowman-McIntyre feud.
All right.
That'd be interesting.
So, I'm going to blow y'all's minds out of the freaking water. Because I'm about to blow mine because I really don't have an idea.
I was about to say, you probably sat all day and thought about what you're going to say, and we're just coming up with shit on the fly.
No. All right. I'm actually going to take a page out of, you know, what I do best, which is like just completely fantasy book, but look forward to the future. So these are who I have. I have Roman Reigns still as champion. And of course, I have Braun Strowman. And this is where it's going to like venture from y'all to. Big time. I'm going to have Elias in there. I'm also going to have in there... crap, I had the guy right here. Let's see, that's 3. I'm not going to have any other Shield member in there. I'm going to have Bray Wyatt in there. He's going to come back. I'm going to have Bobby Lashley in there. And just for giggles, because I think it'd be really, really cool to see just something really out there. I'm going to have Jinder Mahal.
Jinder!
All right, so going into this, I had to have somebody take the pin. I'm not going to have Braun Strowman take the pin. I'm not going to have, of course, Roman Reigns take the pin. Not going to have Bray take the pin. Not going to have Bobby take the pin. So that's the reason. That's honestly the real reason why Jinder Mahal is in the match, is to take the pin. But I also want to build him back up, because I think he could make a decent champion if they built him going towards a title, instead of just all of a sudden he's now a contender. I don't think that's right. I think he needs to work his way up.
I'd just like to say that I never jumped off the Jinder Mahal train. I still support Jinder. You can't hinder the Jinder.
3-man band, baby. So I actually have this is going to sound weird, but I actually have Strowman winning, but he's going to win in a fluke type way. So what's going to happen, and you have to imagine this bump being taken, because I don't think it could ever really be taken because of how difficult, well, not really being that difficult, actually be pretty damn easy. So I have Dean and Seth are not in the match because they're in a tag team match with McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler earlier in the night.
Damn, you done booked the whole card.
Yeah. So, well, they come out to help Roman keep the title. They turn heel. This is the heel turn for the Shield. They come out. They're fighting with Strowman. You know, they bring Strowman to the top because everyone's trying to pin Strowman, but no one can pin him. There's no way you can pin him because he's overpowered. Let's face it, he's OP. And inside the, Strowman and Reigns go up to the top of the cell. They're fighting it out. You have everyone else inside the cell fighting it out. You have Bray Wyatt in there, Bobby Lashley in there, Elias in there, and you got Jinder Mahal in there. Well, you have the two, Dean and Seth come out, the Shield members come out. They climb up the cell and they do the triple power bomb onto Braun Strowman through the top of the cell. This is the reason why this would work, and this is the only way this bump would work, is if you have everyone underneath Braun when he comes crashing down to pretty much catch him.
That's a long drop to catch somebody.
It's a long drop, but you do have these able bodies. Like I said, you have Bray Wyatt, who's pretty strong. You've seen Jinder Mahal. He has no cards.
Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, freaking Elias. You have these really, really big dudes to catch this huge guy coming down. In the misfire, this is a misfire. Braun lays on, Braun knocks them all out because of the severity of this power bomb, and he ends up covering Jinder. He falls on, once he hits everybody, everyone rolls out, and at the end, Braun is on top of Jinder. Nobody can get to Braun to break the pin. There you go. There's how Braun becomes your champion.
That's pretty interesting. I like that.
So, the way that we go forward with that, you have Braun as champion, you have Heel Shield, who Roman's, of course, the leader of, like, hey, I get a rematch. But also, there's a little bit of tension there. They're like, we did this, and it backfired on us. And that would turn them even more heel. So, of course, you're going to have the Roman and Braun thing, which everyone's already tired of. But Braun is getting so sick and tired of facing these three people. He's doing it week after week. And he does get, he comes out, but he does get beat down. Bring back the Wyatt family. Bring in Bray. Bring in Luke. Who's not hurt?
Luke's not hurt.
Luke
Only Rowan.
All right, so bring back Luke. So have Luke come in, and you reform the Wyatt family. With the you have two out of the three members have held the world, have held some sort of big name title. Either Universal or WWE World, and just and we redo that Shield versus Wyatt family feud that we had years ago.
And we really didn't get a whole lot of it.
No, we were left like we want more, and it never happened because of the whole.
The Shield broke up shortly after, didn't they?
Yes, but
It was later at Summer or something.
But the whole reason behind that, and I'm going to catch a lot of backlash for this, is because of Rey Mysterio and Daniel Bryan. And I say this because the whole dynamic, if I'm not mistaken, was Bryan was left out of the Rumble. You had Mysterio come in instead of Bryan. So Bryan had to fight his way, and then you had Batista actually win that Rumble match. And then the main event of WrestleMania 30 was
Bryan, Orton, and
you're right.
Batista.
Right. And then you had... Then that's transformed from that into Evolution versus the Shield. And it really stopped the Wyatt Shield feud that we saw. So
it really turned into the Shield in Evolution.
Yeah, and then that was even short lived because you had Rollins turn on the Shield, which everyone thought it was going to be Dean, but it was Rollins. That would be my prediction. That's the way that I would like to see it go forward, is that we end up having two awesome factions go head to head at it again. But I don't see it. Of course, we'll never get another 6-man Armageddon Hell in a Cell, I don't think. But it would be awesome to see it. Hell, we could even see something like that play out at this year's Hell in a Cell if they do it right. But that'd
be a risky bump to take, though.
It will be risky, but it's fantasy. So
yeah,
because it's fantasy, we're gonna allow it. So with that being said, there really wasn't much left on the card for us to talk about on what's going on. Of course, All In has already happened. I have all the results right here on who wins. Any small surprises, I'm not going to get into that because we haven't got to watch it yet, so I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. So
by the time you're hearing this, it's been
couple
always
weeks.
been gone.
Yeah. So let's I kind of want to take a step back, and this wasn't discussed with you guys, so this is kind of one of those what's going to happen type deals. But we have obviously a lot of time to kill. We have 30 to 40 minutes to kill. But
Are we doing a SmackDown?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about that. So go ahead and go with the smack. I completely forgot about the smack. See that's how my mind's been working. So go ahead, Travis. Go ahead with the SmackDown.
With my SmackDown roster, I'm actually gonna. I don't know if you really call it divergent, but it's gonna be AJ Styles, obviously.
Mhm.
Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, Randy Orton, Nakamura, and Andre Almas.
I knew he was going to be in there.
I have Jeff Hardy taking a huge bump with a swanton dive off the top of the cell through a table onto Jeff Hardy or onto Randy Orton. It takes them both out. I have AJ and Joe pretty much taking each other out. I'll have Andre Almas doing the double knees to the face to AJ through the barrier outside and breaking down the barrier in classic WWE fashion. But ultimately, the last two remaining people in this match will be Cien Almas and Nakamura, with Cien Almas winning via Zelina Vega Hurricane Bomb. You know that Hurricane Rana face plant move she did in NXT?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She comes in and delivers that. Cien Almas wins. This is going to be almost of a passing of the torch type deal. Cien Almas is young. 100% believe he can be the face of SmackDown. Eventually. He's great. I can't say enough good things about Cien Almas. And my fallout from this would be Cien Almas just going on this monster run with Zelina Vega. Not really a chicken shit heel, but more of a. He just kind of relies on Zelina Vega here and there, and I just have this monster WWE title run with Cien Almas after this.
All right, Zane.
All right, I'm going to have AJ Styles in there as champion, obviously. Samoa Joe. I'm going to have Randy Orton and Jeff Hardy. Cien Almas, obviously. It's going to sound almost like a copycat of Travis's because I'm on that Cien Almas train as well. He's just
See.
Yeah, he reminds me so much, but yet he's so different from Eddie Guerrero. There's just something special about him, man. He's got that it factor. I think WWE sees it too. I think Vince actually sees it because if you notice, he didn't let Daniel Bryan beat him last week. It went double disqualification, or just disqualification, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
And for my sixth person, I don't want to add Nakamura to it because he's already United States champion, and he probably defended it earlier in the night since we're booking the card like Rob did. He probably defended it against Daniel Bryan or something, or The Miz. But I'll add The Miz. The Miz will be my my sixth person. I'll have Joe and AJ take each other out. I'd like to see not a swanton, but something similar to like diving off not the top of the cage, but off the halfway up to Randy Orton, and Randy Orton turns it into an RKO, like the biggest RKO he's ever had. And
RKOs of all RKOs.
Yeah, the mother of all RKOs, off the Hell in the Cell. And then I'm gonna have Zelina Vega do that little hurricanrana thing like she does, but she's going to do it, and it's going to throw Miz into the cell, and then Cien's just going to go from there and win the title. And then the fallout from that will be eventually, maybe the next night, maybe a few months down the road. We'll say a few months down the road after Cien's has a few successful title retains, and he's saying there's no way it can beat him or anything, and then all of a sudden Aleister Black's music hits, and we start to reignite that feud from NXT.
That has multiple layers to it because Zelina and Aleister.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
All right, so here's how I play it out. All right, Styles is still champion. You have Almas, but I'm not going to go too much into why Almas is in there. But you have Almas, you have Daniel Bryan, you got The Miz, you got Samoa Joe, and you have Shelton Benjamin.
No.
Of course, Shelton.
I was gonna put Benjamin in mine, but I was like, nah.
So the way that it ends is that you have Bryan on the outside. Bryan's been beat up, battered. He's on the announcer's table. There's The Miz is up top of the ring. And they've done this before, I think, with The Miz. I know that they did it somewhat similar to KO, but The Miz, where they play into the factor that where he wrestles too safe. He's too soft. And they have him tease jumping off of the cell onto Daniel Bryan to the table. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. And he turns around and he gets freaking drop kicked by AJ Styles, launching him off of it, going through the table, announcer's table. So Miz is out. AJ Styles is at the top of the ring. You have Daniel Bryan. He's rode out. He's kind of knocked out. Inside the ring, you got Benjamin, Almas, and you also have Samoa Joe. And Joe is just like bulldozing through both of them. They're both trying to get Joe down. Joe's just bulldozing through both of them. And then Benjamin goes to hit something off the top rope. Misses Joe, hits Almas. And then he's over there like, oh my gosh, I didn't mean to do that. And Joe gets him in the clutch. And Benjamin's out. That's the end of the match. So Joe is your champion now. So Joe goes into SmackDown as champion. He's over there. He's like, I beat 6 other people, or I beat 5 other people to hold this title. I am the most badass in this company. I've beaten Nakamura countless times. I am one of the select few NXT title holders. I am the destroyer for Triple H, and he builds himself up. And then all of a sudden the lights go out. Lights come back, and you see these candles on the ramp and on the stage. And when the lights come back on, you got Black right behind him. And Black just lays him out with the black mask. And that starts a feud with them, because I would love to see a feud between them two. Would absolutely love it. AJ Styles, of course, he gets his rematch. He's like, hey, I never got, I didn't get pinned. I want my rematch. And in the end, Joe beats Styles. And then that's also going to, Joe beats up Styles, or he beats Styles. Joe's like, see, I can beat Styles. And then Black's like, but you didn't beat me. And then he lays Styles out altogether and says anyone can lay out Styles. And just really puts that badass fold into Aleister Black that we really need to see. And then them two fight over the title. And from there on out, you can do the Daniel Bryan Miz storyline, keep going on. Almas,
Until Samoa Joe gets injured again.
Yeah. And then you have Almas. He goes after the U.S. title. I think that would be perfect for him. And then Benjamin is just Benjamin. I hate to say it, but that's just how he is. So.
Yeah. There's always somebody left out in the rain.
I mean, yeah, realistically, it makes sense for almost to win the United States title first. But since it's fantasy booking, I'm going all out, balls up, giving them the title.
That's just how I see it happening. So.
Oh yeah, that's probably more realistically of how it would happen too.
Yeah. The only problem is, while I'm doing fantasy booking, I also try to keep in contact with what's actually still going on in the real world. Joe probably wouldn't get the title just simply because he's too injury prone. I don't see Joe taking the title off of Styles. I know that's what the reports are saying right now, is that Joe comes out with the title. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they see him as too injury prone. They're not going to give him the title. You're not going to have Daniel Bryan take any huge bumps in Hell in a Cell. That's the reason why he didn't jump off the cell. Miz being the chicken shit that he is, and he's trying to get out, he goes to do the big bump, but he's like, no, I'm not going to do it, and he's pretty much forced to off the top of the cell. I think that would be a perfect way to play that character. So
the fans would love him even more though after that.
Oh hell yes.
Oh yeah, Miz is already over, but if he got drop kicked off the cell, he would be eternally over.
He is over, and I'm not really comparing them because I know the heat level is completely different. But when you say over for Daniel Bryan, I'm thinking Ciampa over, where you don't get a lot of cheers for Miz. You get a lot of boos, but not because he sucks, but because the fans love to see him as a heel. Just like
we're booing him out of respect.
Yeah, you're booing him out of respect for that's his character. You enjoy his character. Just like Tommaso Ciampa, you boo him because of the character. Which, while we're on the subject, I don't know who posted it. Somebody posted it in the group, but it was a while back where Tommaso Ciampa debuted new theme music.
Most heel move ever.
It was the biggest heel. Like, everybody's like, that sucks. I don't understand why. Why is he coming out with, him not having any having any music before was awesome. And I'm like, don't you understand? This is the best heel move that he could ever do, because he was so over with not having heel music that when he comes out with music. When he comes out with any sort of music, they're like, this sucks. Why is he boo, boo? And he's going to get even more heat because that's what he does. He's a heel. That's what he does.
Was it you or somebody else before he got a theme song saying he should come out to like CM Punk's theme song once or twice or something?
I think so. I think I said that he should come out to CM Punk music in one of the matches. And because that would just be that would be a dick move altogether, and I think it would be awesome.
Imagine if you used Stone Cold's theme song. Theme song.
That's what, and I remember that's what CM Punk used to do a lot. He would troll the fans. He would have, while he was giving a promo, he would have Austin's music hit every so often, and because everyone wanted to see that feud, Austin Punk, and of course it never did happen and never will. But that was something that everybody wanted to see. So,
HBK trolled the fans one time with Bret Hart's theme song.
Oh, I remember that. I legit thought Bret Hart was gonna. Well, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, that was around the time that.
Is the HBK and Hogan storyline maybe, or?
It was the HBK Vince storyline. Where they had God play HBK's tag team partner, because the story that I heard was it was supposed to be Bret Hart originally, but I think Bret Hart backed out of it, so that's the reason why he trolled everybody with the Bret Hart thing. But I could be wrong on that completely. But while we're talking about, Tommaso Ciampa, talking about Aleister Black, stuff of that nature. Let's talk about NXT a little bit, guys, and just how it's changed. Now, last week we talked about NXT and 205 Live coming together as one single brand. You drop the 205 brand altogether, and you have just the cruiserweights, on NXT and defending their titles on NXT and on the takeovers, which I believe is a great idea. Everyone here believes it's a great idea. But I got a wild hair up my tail end the other night, and I decided, you know what, I want to watch some old NXT. I went in, and what I was doing was I was watching the evolution. Like, it started off watching the evolution of theme songs of wrestlers. Randy Orton's, Triple H's, Stone Cold's, which played a part in the last week's questions on who your favorite theme song is. And I decided to go back and watch some NXT, and I mean original NXT, like the very, very, very first NXT that showed on Sci-Fi after they dropped the ECW brand.
You went way back.
Yeah, and I remember watching that show live, and I remember the Daniel Bryan, Chris Jericho match, and I was on the edge of my seat because I'd never seen Daniel Bryan. Like, I'd heard about him, but I'd never watched any of his stuff. And when I watched that match, I was like, wow. And then, I'm like, all right, now I want to see the very first episode of the new NXT. And it's such a different, it's different altogether. And even if you look at NXT then, on that first, the new NXT era or whatever you want to call it, the Full Sail NXT, and you look at it now, it's still completely different. What do you want to see out of NXT, Travis?
I would like to see out of NXT, which is eventually going to happen, is NXT being its own brand. And what I mean by that is we're not going to be guessing who's going to be called up. And I would like to see it even grow to a brand where people could go back to. You could have Tyler Breeze go back to NXT and be over as hell, and it'd just be fine because NXT is its own, federation, if you will. And my ultimate goal for NXT would be that. I would love NXT to just be completely disassociated with a developmental project, and to where you have people that might even spend their whole damn career in NXT, because it's just so good and they just fit so well in it. We look at people that have been called up that have not worked out. The first person I think of is Bobby Roode. If you look at Bobby Roode in NXT, this man was literally the face of NXT. One of the most over heels I can think of in the last however long. And then he goes to SmackDown, and you hear the when his music hits, and he still gets a pop, but he's not shit compared to what he was to NXT.
Yeah.
So my ultimate vision for NXT would to be its own standalone brand where people don't have to get called up. People can just stay there and just be great and just be over at NXT.
Would you like it to be live every week?
Going forward, I think it would be good to be live because there have been some things that have kind of been spoiled by it being taped. Well, I know, so when Ciampa first won the title, it got it kind of got spoiled because it was taped and, the leaks got out. And when Mustache Mountain beat Undisputed, that time it kind of got leaked and kind of got spoiled. I think it should. The ultimate vision would to be its own brand, it be live, and it just be it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Travis. And another thing I'd like to add to it, I think it would help it out a lot being live as well, is not having to go so long without seeing certain wrestlers that you really enjoy. Like when Black won that title, we saw him once a month on NXT because they're all out, they're taping and they're all out touring. I understand that, but I hate not being able to see certain wrestlers more than once a month. And it's like, But at the same time, it's good because it gives other people a chance too, and making it 2 hours long would help out with a lot with that too. It's just there's so much you can do with the NXT. I mean, it's damn near perfect as it is, and but there's just so much more you could add to it, making it its own brand, making it live. I don't know if you take it off the network and put it on network television or not, but I mean, it's worth a shot. I know they did it once last year, and it went pretty well, didn't it?
Yeah. So, don't mean to interrupt you with this, but on your idea of them going to.
Oh, you're not interrupting.
Them transferring it from the network to actual network cable television. There has been talks that when the Fox deal's already went through, but when it actually starts happening, them bringing NXT to one of the Fox channels. Fox Sports 1, I think, might be the channel that they might show NXT on. Of course, it's still going to be available on the network, but I think that's what they're going for. I don't think it will be a live show, but I think that's where that they were talking.
Well, SmackDown used to not be live.
No.
Time.
No, it was taped for the longest time.
I think once you put NXT on a actual network television cable channel, that'll more or less solidify it as its own brand. I think it would bring in even more money now, and I think that's a big reason of why people don't. I mean, I'm sure they want to stay down in NXT. Sometimes they probably have no choice in being called up, but the money is probably why a lot of them go to the main roster. Because I mean, you got to support your family. I mean, yeah, I'm sure they don't make as much down. I'm sure they make really good money in NXT, just not as much as they would on the main roster.
Well, that goes back to what a couple weeks ago when TakeOver. When Dream had those tights that said, "Call me up then," and Triple H pretty much said, "Hey,
that's not always a good thing.
Is a bump in pay. It might not be what you want."
Right. All right. So I'm going to go and I'm going to talk about what Zane was talking about, and to correct my report, it was discussed, or there was internet rumors of what it is that Fox is expecting more programming from WWE to air on some of its other shows, such as Fox Sports 1.
By programming, do they mean actual wrestling or just like some of the shows they have
on
the network?
People assumed NXT is what people assumed. But what has come out from the Wrestling Observer, per Dave Meltzer, WWE, and this makes complete sense. I can completely see where they're coming from. NXT, I'll go more into this after I make this statement. WWE wants to keep NXT off television as an incentive for fans to keep subscribing to the network. Fox announced in June it agreed to a 5-year contract with WWE to start airing SmackDown Live starting October 4th, 2019. So it's next year we see SmackDown going from Tuesday nights to Friday nights, and it going from the USA Network to Fox. And it's the main Fox network. This isn't like, one of the sister channels on cable TV.
FX.
Yeah, or, Fox Sports 1. This is the main Fox broadcasting channel, which is going to be which can be seen over the air antenna.
Kind of like the old UPN days.
Exactly. Meltzer noted that there have been talks about putting WWE programming on FS1, Fox Sports 1. Some ideas included a pre-show before SmackDown airs on Friday and pay-per-view post-shows on Sundays. NXT has been WWE's developmental brand since 2010, when it began as a competition show with pros, men, and rookies. It was given a makeover in 2012 that focused more on traditional wrestling with storylines and matches. So I want to take it back to the WWE wants to keep NXT off of television as an incentive for fans to keep subscribing to the network. That's twofold. One of the main reasons, WWE Network. Two of the main reasons that people have it is one, pay-per-views, and we've talked about this before. Not saying that 205 or saying 205 Live is a bad product, but people are more interested in NXT than 205 Live. So NXT don't make WWE money. The brand itself doesn't make money. There's not a lot of merchandise that sells from NXT wrestlers, NXT talent. The production cost for NXT, granted, while it's in a sound studio that's taped, which cuts down the production cost, where they don't get ad revenue to air during NXT, and it's only an hour long per week. They don't make money off of NXT. But at the same time, when you have people that keep paying $10 a month for this show, it kind of does. That's kind of where it does make its money at. So it does make sense off of that point for NXT to stay on the network. So
NXT is probably the biggest reason why I still have the network. I mean, the pay-per-views are a hell of a lot cheaper to watch on there than they would if you to order them on TV. And sometimes I just like to go back and watch the old stuff. But NXT is why I have the network.
Yeah, same here.
What I would like to see, I had this discussion with someone that I follow on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. He's an excellent writer. He has his own website. If you get a chance, go look at tgrwrestling.net. It's for the John Report, John Canton. He has lots of friends in the wrestling industry, as well as just, I don't want to say influence, but he writes a lot of really good articles that make you think. I had a discussion with him about having people move up and down in the brands as far as NXT is, like having I would like to see Seth Rollins get knocked back down to NXT. Not saying that he's bad and he needs to work in NXT, but to add that star power.
So much for NXT.
NXT, exactly. That would put NXT on a whole different pedestal. I could see them having some not main eventers, but some mid card to lower mid cards go back down to NXT. I would like to see that happening. I don't. This is just what I would love to do. Get rid of the Raw after Mania call-ups. Do it, but do it in a different way. There's no need to have Bobby Lashley just came back. Such and such has just came up out of NXT. There's no need for all that. If you're gonna do it like that,
it's just all for a cheap pop.
Yes, if you're gonna do that, how about we do it via draft? Have a 3-brand draft, the Raw after WrestleMania, and do your call-ups on NXT that way.
Well, that's what they did a couple of years ago. That's how Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax came to be on the main roster, as they were drafted.
Yeah, I remember that.
Right. NXT is a great developmental brand. It allows the talent to get accustomed to live shows, the live crowds, being on TV. I would like for them to do it via live. With today's technology and just I can go live right now if I want to, and it costs me absolutely nothing to go live. I can go live on Twitch. I can go live on Mixer. I can go live on a host of different platforms, even Facebook. There's to say that it costs too much production wise to go live, I don't agree with that statement. Just because you have way too many people out there putting up content on a live basis. But it also gives WWE the chance, Triple H, whoever's in charge of production over there on NXT, to edit stuff out that needs to be edited out. Because you are dealing with a lot of people that don't really know that's not used to that sort of environment. But I would love to see NXT have some more star power to it, and I don't want to see them gut NXT by taking so many of its roster members away and giving it to Raw and SmackDown. Nakamura, Bobby Roode, those are just two names that come up to mind. That's just they've been slaughtered once they got to the main roster. Tyler Breeze, Fandango,
Sami Zayn,
yeah, definitely him. These are huge names that was huge in NXT, but once they hit the main roster, they kind of, yeah. Bailey, I think, is the biggest thing, and I think
unforgivable what they've done to Bailey and Asuka.
Yeah, so I don't want to see NXT gutted like it's been gutted. And I want to see some people, if you're going to have people flow out of NXT, bring people down to replace them. So we still have
this? Would you like to see Triple H wrestle at an NXT takeover?
No.
You don't think that's a good idea?
No.
Not to win. I'm saying put over somebody.
Nope.
Like
I don't.
A Lars Sullivan or.
Here's my take on it. I've loved the Triple H character since the DX days, when he went corporate, the whole 9 yards, when he became the corporate player and all that other stuff. I honestly don't want to see Triple H back in the ring.
Ever?
Ever.
I don't want to see him winning titles again, but I don't care, man. I don't care if it's 10 years from now. I'm gonna mark out when Triple H's music hits.
I don't want to see Triple H in the ring. I don't want to see Undertaker back in the ring. I don't want to see, and honestly, I don't want to see The Rock. I don't want to see. I don't want to see that time has passed. And you can say, oh, they're giving the rub. They're giving, they're bringing eyes to the product. No, not really, not anymore. Because,
Okay, well, what about a Cena on a takeover card?
I could see a Cena, but
I'm honestly surprised he hasn't.
He made a joke that he wants to go on to an NXT card because that's the only brand he's never been on.
I'd like to see him and Dream have a match at Takeover and he put Dream over. I know he would because he's already gave Dream that nod saying he's the future.
Here's the thing. I don't want to see any main eventer from the main roster to really be on a takeover show or wrestle a takeover show, because that's like them saying, in my eyes,
he's a free agent.
Right. But this is what I'm saying. Your John Cena's, your Undertakers, your Triple H's. Let's say Shawn Michaels comes back. You're Shawn Michaels. That's them saying that NXT themselves aren't good enough to get over by themselves, that they have to bring main eventers from the main roster to get eyes on the show. And I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with that statement. And I know that's not what it is, but in Vince's eyes and in Vince's head, that's exactly how he sees it.
I just think of what it could do for the character of Velveteen Dream to beat John Cena. This guy down in NXT. And that would just help solidify NXT too. These guys are for real. They're actual players down there.
All right, so I'm about to make a lot of people mad.
Don't you talk shit about Velveteen.
I like Velveteen Dream. His matches are awesome. I don't see him as the main event player. I just don't see it.
No.
I don't see it. And it's not the person. It's the gimmick. I don't see the gimmick, and it's not that I'm, it's not. Is it because he's doing like a Goldust type gimmick? It's nothing like that.
Well, Vince ain't gonna be around forever. Once Triple H gets the helms of it, it's gonna be Dream over.
Put it this way: do you want to see the Repo Man as your world champion?
Well, no.
Okay. Do you want to see IRS as your world champion? Why not?
They weren't really over. They just didn't have that ability to have a believable run to make it entertaining. Velveteen Dream does.
Velveteen Dream is interesting. All right, Goldust.
You asking me if I want him as champion?
Yeah, can you see him as champion?
Yeah. I'm pissed off that he hasn't had that run.
I honestly can't see. Are anyone with a gimmick like that's held down by?
I'm not saying give him a 6-month reign or something. I'm just saying he's put in his hard work. He deserves a title run. He deserved it probably 15 years ago.
My point is this: if you have a gimmick, if you have a cartoon gimmick, and I'm not saying that Velveteen Dream's gimmick is very cartoonish. It's very Orlando Jordan-ish, if you will, back when he was in the WWE, and somewhat in his TNA days. Of course, Velveteen Dream don't come out with the man and woman, and he kisses both of them and all that. But the whole concept of Velveteen Dream, I can't see him with that gimmick being world champion.
Oh, no.
I'm completely agreeing with Rob too. Disagreeing.
The Velveteen Dream is what you get if you mix Goldust and The Rock and whoever else. He is just he's perfectly in that line of being fruity enough to where it's creepy, but not too fruity to where he can't beat somebody's ass.
Here's the thing.
Well, Aleister Black, that's a gimmick.
Not really. I mean, do you see him? Here's the thing. I enjoyed Undertaker back when he was Ministry of Darkness, and when I was a teenager, I enjoyed that gimmick. I enjoyed it when he held the title after he beat Austin for the title when he ran the title, but you don't see people doing that stuff. You don't see even Aleister Black. You don't see Aleister Black burying people. You don't see Aleister Black crucifying people. You don't see Aleister Black, taking a candle, lighting it over somebody who he's just beating and dripping the wax onto their skin. He has a persona that's gothic. But
he is. What is he? Is he atheist or is he Satanist?
I don't think he's either. I don't think he's either one of those. I think it's from the country. I think it's the country that he's from, because I know he's not American.
No, he's a
Swedish.
God, Swedish or something.
Yeah, which that's a pretty big thing over there, by what I've gathered, but I'm not 100% sure, so don't quote me on that. But I don't think, and it's mainly the gimmick, but it's not just the gimmick. How many big matches has Dream won?
Well, he won
one, but really two, because Cassius Ohno it was on a takeover. It wasn't really a big match, but it was. But his EC3 win was a pretty big deal.
He just sent EC3 to the main roster.
I don't see EC3 being, EC3 came over from
TNA.
Well, he started off on one of the original seasons of NXT as Derek Bateman. Then he went to TNA, and I know this because I've watched the video package. And then he went over to TNA, did the whole EC3 1% deal, and then he went to then he came back to WWE. EC3, yeah, it was a win for him, but I don't. If he would have beat Ricochet, if he would beat Adam Cole, if he would have beat, if he even beat Bobby Fish, then I could see those as being big wins. I don't see EC3 as being a huge win.
Well, also,
I think this is.
What is he? 23.
Yeah, 20. Yeah, he just turned 23.
He's going against people that have paid their dues. That it's their time. Look, if you don't pull the trigger on Ricochet now, when are you going to?
Right.
And same thing with the other
Adam
guy,
Cole.
Adam Cole. these guys are primed. They're like 30 years old. They're at the height of their, they're entering their prime. They're at the height of their overness. Like, Velveteen is just starting. Like, he's just now. I mean, he
didn't even go in the Indies. He's born and bred in WWE's NXT Performance Center
because he did the Tough Enough.
Yeah,
right.
Let's not forget. Maybe the most important, determining factor in his future is he got the John Cena seal of approval. I mean, look, I'm not even being sarcastic here. We all joke about John Cena having that golden shovel, and he has had it, But when John Cena says, "Hey, look, this guy's the future," I mean that counts for something.
All right, so I'm going to do something, and I think this is going to end. This is going to kind of end the debate, just because I'm asking y'all to do something for me. I want you to quit thinking of wrestling as being a wrestling smart. Start thinking of being a wrestling mark. Think about the casual fan. Think about don't think outside of the WWE box. Think of inside the main roster box. Think of the way that the casual fan views the wrestlers. Your kids and your teenagers. Not your we've watched wrestling since the golden era, and we love what's on the indie scene. The casual fan. Look at it from that point of view, and tell me if you can see Velveteen Dream as a casual fan being a world champion with that gimmick.
I think so. The only people that would have a problem with him is the people who don't really watch wrestling, but they'll catch it or something. They're just like, "What is this?" But they also think all wrestling is stupid, because the casual fan. I mean, look at the world today, man. I ain't saying nothing bad against gay people whatsoever, but I mean, they're going to be accepting of Velveteen Dream's gimmick just because the way the world is today.
You can look at it like this. The casual fan 100% backs Finn Balor. And Finn Balor has a demon as his alternate persona.
All right. Let's look at it this way.
You're not going to change your mind.
No, I'm not asking to change your mind. I'm just asking for you to look at it at a different point of view, because I am not the indie mark. I don't look at indie darlings. I know nothing about the indie scene. I don't watch New Japan. I don't watch Ring of Honor. I don't watch TNA. The only show that I watch is WWE, and the only time I watch NXT is during the takeover shows. And I am their casual fan. I am their fan base. I mean, I am exactly who WWE wants. I am someone that has disposable income, that can buy merchandise. I am someone else that is completely oblivious to what else is going on in the wrestling world, because I don't know what's going on in New Japan. You got Bullet Club, okay? That just because they're a big name, that's the only reason why I know who they are. You got TNA. Yeah, I knew TNA back because I'm from Tennessee. That was I grew up with them, because they were from Tennessee. That's the reason why I know them. But I don't know the new TNA. I don't know the new Impact stars. I can't watch the new Impact show because I don't know the characters on it. I know I know NXT because I catch the takeovers. But if you take that away, I don't know who Velveteen Dream is.
Well,
and so I'm their casual fan. I am their mark. I am the person that they love. So when I speak and I look at this stuff like that, that's how I'm looking at it. And they're like, all right, that's our fan. We're going to tell him the story. We're not going to tell these guys over here that they obsess over NXT. Because you got to figure what Triple H sees in somebody isn't what Vince sees in somebody. And let's face it, Vince is still head, and Vince is going to be head until he dies. And that could be 2 years from now, that could be 10 years, that could be 20 years down the line. We don't know. So the way that I look at it is, I look at it as from the casual fan that don't know anything about NXT.
But once upon a time, Roman Reigns has done an NXT and nobody knew about him. Same with
Wouldn't-
Seth Rollins and Finn Balor.
You want to know?
Yeah.
You want to know how? And when they showed up on the scene, when they showed up at Hell in a Cell and they put Ryback through the table, I knew
That's
I
what
had
they did.
I had no idea who they were. No idea.
That's all.
Well,
they-
to be honest, I didn't know either. No, we didn't really watch NXT that much back then. It wasn't as big of a thing back then.
That's,
I didn't watch it anyways.
But
that's what they got to do with Velveteen. Like when he gets called up, all they got to do is make an entrance and just let him do Velveteen.
all right,
That's what they did with Finn Balor too. What did
No,
Finn Balor do?
really?
He won the Universal Title within like a month or two
all right.
coming to the main roster.
All right, let me ask you a question on this, because we're running out of time. But and here's my point, and I'm with you, Zane. I'm not homosexual. I'm not homophobic.
homosexual.
I'm not homophobic or anything of that nature. You know, I accept everybody. If you show me respect, I'm going to show you respect. That's just how it is. But when they pushed the all acceptant Finn Balor in, everyone's accepted into the Balor Club gimmick when he came out with the rainbow color stuff, the rainbow color Balor Club's logo. You didn't hear that pop anymore. You didn't hear that big of a pop when he debuted with his regular gimmick that he does now again. And when he does it with the demon gimmick, you heard this loud pop. But when they went that direction with him, you didn't hear as loud of a pop.
Yeah, but see, Finn Balor was like his pro LGBT character, whereas Velveteen Dream, he's more or less like a very creepy homoerotic character.
Yeah,
It's a totally different thing.
Yeah, Velveteen's not really waving the rainbow flag as much.
No, he's not.
Hey, I'm gonna molest you in your sleep while you're not.
But
I'll win.
But my thing is this though. When I hear the name Velveteen Dream,
And also, Finn Balor is a babyface. Dream is more or less heel.
Yeah.
see, that's the thing. I don't like when he was going up against EC3. I didn't know who the face and who the heel was.
Didn't
Because-
really matter.
But and I'm not, like I said, I'm not taking anything against Velveteen Dream at all. He's a great wrestler. His ring work is awesome. His promo skills are great. It fits his character. I just don't see that character holding the world title. That's all I'm saying. I don't see that character being able to move past a mid-card title.
All I do when I look at him and I get hopeful, which I do, which I understand what you're saying, but I look at every feud he's been in his short and young career, and I look at how he's been over. And I know NXT crowd is a totally different beast, than the main roster crowd. Because, like you said, there's people, you could have somebody like Bobby Roode, for instance, who's over as hell in NXT, and then he gets to SmackDown and he just gets kind of mild pops. But you look at Aleister Black, who has been. When I look at Aleister Black, Velveteen's been the only guy who is, maybe you could even argue that he was more over than Aleister during their match.
Oh yeah.
You had people chanting, "Say his name" to Aleister Black, and in any other Aleister Black feud, it's not even close. Aleister
No,
Black,
not even.
Yeah.
Aleister Black is 100% over every time in every one of his feuds, except for Velveteen Dream. And I just think Velveteen's in that perfect. He's just got that perfect balance, creepy, but not, gay or whatever. But I can honestly say
He has to go to SmackDown.
Yeah, he has to go to SmackDown. But I think he's enough of Goldust to be interesting, but enough of not Goldust to get over. if that makes
I
sense.
think Dream should go to the main roster around the same time as Black, because those two will just get each other over with the main crowd themselves.
Like Robert said, Vince is ultimately in control over trips. But we don't know when, this is going to sound kind of bad to me, but we don't know when Vince is going to kick the bucket. And I don't, I respect everything Vince has ever done for wrestling, whatever. Say what you want about
Katie
it.
Vick.
He did a lot for wrestling, but with
Vick.
With Dream only being 23, just turned 23, his prime is probably going to be past Vince's expiration date.
So I'm going to wrap this up. We're an hour 10 into this, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Great conversation. Depending on what happens between now and then, now and the next time we record, we might pick this conversation up and add, if you're on here, Travis, we'll have the battle of the Roman Reigns ideas, and how he's booked and everything of that nature. But honestly, though, guys, thanks a lot for coming back onto the show. It is a bit of a long episode, kind of giving you guys, out there something for your time. Just want to give back to y'all for sticking with us as long as you have. This is 6 episodes deep. 7 if you count the missing episode that we did live.
It's gonna be a creepy pasta episode, the lost episode.
But guys out there, listening to us, I can't thank y'all enough for staying with us, for listening to us, for listening to each and every podcast. I know, these two guys, they appreciate it. Dustin appreciates it. I know Jacob appreciates it. Everyone that's been on the show appreciates it. It gets us out there. It gets the group out there. The more people we have in the group in the New Brood, the better the conversations are. The more fun we have. So that being said, the link for this, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link is in the description below. If you downloaded it off of MediaFire, go search for the New Brood on Facebook. Honestly, I can't give you a description of what the picture is going to be like, because gosh knows who's going to be on.
I'm pretty sure it's Velveteen Dream right now.
It is now, but you got to figure this is getting posted up next week. So, it is a
Before we
closed
go real
group.
quick, I want to say something real quick.
All right, go ahead.
Dream over.
All right. For Zane, for Travis, I'm Rob. Thank y'all. This is the Wrestling with the Remote podcast, brought to you by none other than the New Brood on Facebook. Until next time, guys, thanks.
See you guys.
See ya.